Hello and welcome to episode number 16 of the Cheesesteaks and Controllers podcast for Fox PHL The Gambler, 102.5 FM, 1480 AM Philadelphia, and iHeart Radio. I am Esports and Gaming Insider Jason Fanelli, and I am here once again to bring you the latest and greatest in the world of esports and video games. It is a good week. Good week for discussion. We're going to talk about the Philadelphia Fusion finally taking the digital pitch in the Grand Finals next weekend. By the time I record this, episode 17 next week, they will have played at least one match, and we'll be preparing for a second. So we'll go over what that first weekend of games looks like, or what that first game looks like, and then after that, what their path would be to the championship. We're also going to talk about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for a little while. They announced a brand new character this week coming in the second DLC pack. I'll go over how those DLC packs work, the character itself, and where I think they go from here as far as the final pieces of the DLC. And then we'll get into the groups in the League of Legends Worlds 2020. We've talked about that a couple times last couple weeks, but the groups are now decided. The play-ins are over. The games will begin Saturday morning, so if you're listening to this on the radio, the first bits will have already happened. So you can check for results on lolesports.com. But first, before we do anything else, let's get in to the 6 in 60 seconds. Your Philadelphia Fusion have cleared quarantine in Korea, which gets them on track for the Grand Finals of the Overwatch League to start on Thursday, October 8th at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Elsewhere, the League of Legends Worlds 2020 groups are decided, North America having 3 teams in Group Play, Team Liquid in Group A, Team Solo Mid in Group C, and FlyQuest in Group D. Also, Activision Blizzard has reportedly offered Overwatch and Call of Duty League teams the option to defer their franchising fees for the upcoming season due to the coronavirus pandemic. Elsewhere, the next character in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate's Fighters Pass 2 is Steve, or Alex, from Minecraft, the widely successful creative franchise coming to Smash Bros. For the first time. Also, Pokemon Sword and Shield's second expansion, the Crown Tundra, was dated for 10/22, including returning Pokemon and new forms of previous Pokemon. And finally, controversy ensues when Peter Parker's face is recasted for Marvel Spider-Man's Remastered on the PlayStation 5. The original face actor, being replaced with someone who looks slightly younger for the new game. Those are your 6 in 60 seconds. Decent news week. That's Smash Brothers news. Like I said, we'll get into that a little bit later on. Very, very excited about that. Really solidifies the fact that anybody can be in that game now, no matter what happens. But we're not going to get into that yet, because the first thing we have to talk about this evening is the Philadelphia Fusion. We have finally made it to the promised land. Grand Finals weekend is 1 week from yesterday, if you're listening to this podcast as it was uploaded on Friday. October the 8th is the first set of games, and I am ready to get this going. I have been thinking about these Grand Finals since we made it. All I want to do is play and get going. But they had to go through their quarantine. There is a pandemic going on right now, and the games are being played in Korea. So Philadelphia and San Francisco had to fly over to Korea and go through the 2 weeks just to make sure that everything was okay with them. They cleared quarantine this week, and they are ready to go. I'm just going to go over tonight the first couple matches in the first days of Overwatch League. I made that mistake again. We're going to talk about who they're playing, why who they're playing are so good, and what they need to do to win. The answer is they're scary good and a lot, but we'll get into all that. So, first things first, there are 4 teams left, for those who don't recall, in the Overwatch League playoffs. The first overall from North America, the San Francisco Shock. The second overall from North America, your Philadelphia Fusion. The first overall from the Asia region, Shanghai Dragons, and the second overall from Asia, the Seoul Dynasty. And the matchups are San Francisco versus Seoul, NA1 versus Asia 2, and Shanghai versus Philadelphia, Asia 1 versus NA2. So that leads us to the format. So now we are in a double elimination bracket once again. Yes, we did lose in the North American playoffs leading up to this point, but by making the Final Four, that loss is, for lack of a better term, forgiven, and we start a brand new double elimination 4-team bracket. 5 matches in all will decide who is the Overwatch League Grand Champion for the year 2020. And the schedule looks very easy to understand. Thursday, October 8th at 7 a.m. Eastern Time is the first match, Seoul versus San Francisco. Thursday, October 8th at 9 a.m. is match number 2, your Philadelphia Fusion versus the Shanghai Dragons. It says 9 a.m., but these games have tended to start a little earlier based on the results of the first game, how long it took. So I would expect anywhere between the 8:35, 8:40 to 9 o'clock range, unless Seoul and San Francisco go 2 hours, which has not happened yet. All year, I don't believe. I don't believe anybody's going 2 hours this year, so I wouldn't expect that. So there's the only 2 matches on Thursday, 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. And then Friday is the biggest packed day of the weekend. 3 matches take place on Friday. You have 5 a.m., you have 7 a.m., and you have 9 a.m. One of those being the losers of the matches on Thursday. The second of which being the winners of the matches on Thursday. And then the third being the winner of the match between Thursday's losers against the loser of the match between Thursday's winners. That is a mouthful to say, but that is what the schedule looks like. And then Saturday, October 10th at 9 a.m. is the whole enchilada, the whole reason we play, the absolute grand finals of the 2020 Overwatch League season. I am very much excited to see that play out in front of me. So let's talk about what Philadelphia has to do to get through that bracket and win the Overwatch League Grand Finals. And first and foremost, it includes beating the Shanghai Dragons, who, after doing my preliminary research, I can describe in about one word, and that is a long, exasperated, frightened scream into the ether. Because this team is stacked. Their roster is one of the best rosters, top to bottom, hands down, no ifs, ands, or buts. So, their match record for the season was 27 wins and 3 losses. They lost 3 matches the entire year. They were number 1 in the entire Overwatch League if you combine North America and Asian rankings. And they are led by a damage player named Fleta, Fleta, who is the MVP of Overwatch League this year. This man is adaptable to the point where I think he's a machine. Anytime a patch would come out and change the way that certain characters worked or changed who was effective and who wasn't, these things happen throughout the course of an esports season. A new balance patch comes out and the metagame gets twisted all around. Fleta never blinked, never batted an eye, never had an issue, never worried about it, was never shaken by any of it. He just continued his dominant play throughout the entire year without a single issue, which earned him the MVP of the Overwatch League 2020. I would have given it to Carpe, but then again, I'm a homer. That's what I'm supposed to do. So if we take a look here at Fleta's stats for the season and the kind of play that we're up against in this upcoming match, we're looking at, let's take a look here. So let's do all the maps. Let's not separate them. I want to see. the Overwatch League website has an excellent stat report tool that you can use to sort statistics and achievements and all this in very, very easy, digestible format. There's a lot of different fields that you can sort by that gives you everything that you need to know about these players. So, Fleta, let's just start with this. Fleta has used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 different characters at some point in this season. 16 different characters. That is absurd. No other player has that kind of adaptability with his abilities. Now, his most used player is Mei, the ice woman. His damage with her, what total hero damage is over 166,000 damage throughout the course of the entire season. His Echo, who is his third most used at 3.5 hours, has 182 hero damage. Basically, anywhere you're standing, no matter where you are or where you're coming from, Fleta can hit you. It doesn't matter how much you try and hide, defend yourself, he's going to get you. And he's got plenty of options to do it. Fleta is 100% the scariest player on the Shanghai Dragons, and one that we need to be worried about 100% of the time, every time. But also, there's Void. Void is a tank. He is the guy who stands up front and takes all the damage so Fleta and the rest of the team can do their thing. Void's Sigma is without question one of the most effective tanks in all of Overwatch League, and it's not even close. His hero damage, total hero damage, Void's Sigma, is 528,600 points of damage. He has played with Sigma for 10 hours of Overwatch League play throughout his 30 matches. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a character he's used the most, with D.Va right behind at 294,000 points of damage and 7 hours, 50 minutes used in his 30 matches. So switching between Sigma and D.Va does not really affect Void's play. He's going to absorb a ton of damage and dish it right back out to you, and you're not going to be able to stop it. Those are the two players that worry me the most when it comes to the fusion. Carpe versus Fleta is a marquee matchup in Overwatch League. Even though we're in the third season, Carpe versus Fleta is going to be insane. The two of them going at it head to head. I assume we're going to see them both pick the same character a few times throughout the match, and just to see who can outshine the other. I am very, very excited to see that. And then our tanks, Poco and the other guy's name, Ivy. Ivy and Poco have a lot to worry about as well with Void. Those tank clashes up front are going to be fun to watch. I'm sorry, Fury, not Ivy. Ivy is damage as well. Keep getting those two mixed up. Fury and Poco, our tanks, are going to have to deal with Void right in the front line there. So there is a lot of great talent on Shanghai that we did not have to deal with before, and they are going to be very, very strong right out of the gate. This is why I wanted to beat the San Francisco Shock back in the winners finals of the North American playoffs. I did not want to have to deal with the Shanghai Dragons, but here we are. Shanghai is here. They're here to stay, and all we have to do is hope and pray that we can be at the top of our game. I would hope that these boys are itching to get back into the game after 2 weeks in quarantine. I hope they practice every day between here and Thursday. Respectively, of course. I don't want anybody passing out or getting fatigued or anything like that. Take care of yourselves while you're over there in Korea. But I want you coming out firing on all cylinders, because I genuinely think we have a chance, even though we've never seen the team this year, and they have one of the best players in the game as the MVP of the league this year. I would like to think that we can hold our own against anyone at any time. We beat everybody in the North American division at least once, including San Francisco. We manhandled San Francisco the last regular season match of the year. So I think we have a decent chance to hold our own with Shanghai and finish that out. However, that's me being slightly hopeful. If we're talking about what I think is going to actually happen in these finals, in these playoffs, I got to be honest with you. I foresee a Shanghai-San Francisco grand final. San Francisco, we've talked about them all year long. They are absolutely 100% the marquee team in the Overwatch League right now. They are the defending champions of the Overwatch League. Even losing a major player from their team, they have stuck to it. They're the number one North American seed. They are money. And honestly, I think that San Francisco and Shanghai is your grand finals. I think that San Francisco will come from the winners side. The losers side. I think Shanghai gets to the finals from the winners side. I do think it'll be a hard-fought battle. I think we can. There are ways we can win Philadelphia, but I feel like there are more ways for Shanghai to win. I'm about 2/3 to 1/3 Shanghai defeating Philadelphia, unfortunately. I would love to be wrong. I am the number one cheerleader for this team, but I have to be realistic. I don't want to lead any of you astray. I do think that Shanghai will ultimately end up defeating the Fusion and sending them to the losers bracket, where they will meet Seoul, because I expect San Francisco to beat Seoul and move on to the winners finals. I do believe that Philadelphia can beat Seoul and send them home. But then in the losers finals, we're going to have either Shanghai, who already beat us once, or San Francisco, who has basically, with the exception of that last regular season match, had our number the entire year. So I believe that the Fusion's League 2020 Overwatch League run will unfortunately end in the losers final, with the grand finals being a rematch of the previous round, Shanghai versus San Francisco, and your 2020 Overwatch League grand champions, in my estimation, will be a repeat, the San Francisco Shock. Because to be the man, you have to beat the man, as Ric Flair once said. San Francisco is here. They've been here before. They've been here in arguably a higher pressure situation, playing the grand finals in the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia last year and sweeping the Vancouver Titans 4-0 in those grand finals. So right now, for my money, a repeat is what I am predicting. I want to be wrong. I want Philadelphia to raise that cup. I would be over the moon on a Saturday afternoon if they can do it on October the 10th. But they have to get to the grand finals first. And I feel like both Shanghai and San Francisco are hurdles that they could trip over. Whether it be Shanghai in the first round to go to the losers bracket, or in the losers finals against either of those teams. Again, I would love to be wrong. I don't want to be right here. I want to come to you, episode 18, 2 weeks from now, and say that the Philadelphia Fusion are your 2020 Overwatch League Grand Champions. I will probably have still not regained my voice 2 Thursdays from now if they pull it off next Saturday, the 10th. I could be very well talking this entire podcast like I'm talking through a scraper or a cheese grater or something like that. Part of me hopes that's what happens. It's not going to, but part of me hopes it, because that means the Fusion will have won. But, it is what it is. No matter what happens, we support you in Philadelphia Fusion. We are looking forward to you representing this city as best you can. And here is hoping that you can bring that cup home to Philadelphia, where we can welcome you with open arms and maybe convince somebody to give you a parade down Broad Street. I'd be there. I'd be cheering you on. Fusion, let's go, baby. Philly Power, sending you all of our energy, Goku Spirit Bomb style, through the air to Korea. Bring it home, guys. Bring it home. Now, with the Overwatch League out of the way, let's talk about all the games you're going to be playing next week, starting Friday with two huge games coming out. Grab those glasses. Get ready for what's on tap. Two big releases this week on tap, and both of them happen to be coming out on the same day. Friday, October 2nd sees both Star Wars Squadrons and Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, released to the world. Two very different games, mind you. One is a classic platformer starring Crash Bandicoot, the star of the original PlayStation, who kind of fell by the wayside for a little while, but has come back strong with the Insane Trilogy, and now a brand new adventure in that style. And then Star Wars Squadron, which brings the epic Star Wars dogfighting from the theater to the small screen and on PlayStation VR. If you happen to have one of those, that may be the way I decide to play it, but we'll see about that. Either way, you have two great options this week. Crash Bandicoot 4, Star Wars Squadrons. What's on tap for you? You really can't go wrong with either game that's on tap this week. It's either going to be Crash Bandicoot, which looks like it plays just like the old ones, as if it didn't miss a beat, or space dogfighting in the Star Wars universe, which just sounds amazing coming out of my mouth. Apparently, according to early reviews, the multiplayer specifically in Star Wars Squadrons is out of this world. So, no pun intended. So I'm wondering if the single player, which apparently is not as good, but I imagine that in VR or something like that, it may still be pretty enjoyable. Either way, there's a lot to like in what's on tap this week. But I'd like to move on now to the second major esports event happening right now, and that is the League of Legends World Championships. Now, we have spent the last few weeks going over League of Legends big time. The mechanics of the game. We spoke to Pastry Time, Julian Carr, the caster in the Oceanic region. Unfortunately, no Oceanic teams are left in the group stages, so we won't be hearing his dulcet tones for the rest of Worlds, which very, very much disappoints me. I rather liked him. I liked speaking with him. He was very intuitive, very informative, not intuitive, very informative in his information about League of Legends that he gave to us, and I am very happy with his interview. If you have not listened to it, there's on episode number 14 of our teeny little podcast here. If you want to go check that out, it was 2 weeks ago that I interviewed him. He runs down all of Worlds before the play-in stages even happened, and gave me very, very, very good information as to what to expect, including picking a winner. I am not going to recommend that interview anymore. I can't recommend that interview anymore, I should say. It was awesome. He was a great talk, and still the record for the longest interview in Cheesesteaks and Controllers' brief history at over 35 minutes of League of Legends information. So if you ever cared about this game, Pastry Time's interview 2 episodes ago is for you. But let's talk about the group stage. Group stage starts Saturday, October 4th at 4 a.m. Eastern Time. Get up early if you want to see some League of Legends. There's a lot of games to be played. I'm still learning about League of Legends every week, as you know. And here I have discovered that I thought that the group stages worked like FIFA World Cup, where every team plays every other team in the group once. You get your records, and then you move on. That is half true. Every team plays every other team in the group twice. They play them twice in best of ones, which means winner gets the point, loser, better luck next time. But the schedule is actually interesting. The schedule works in 2 halves. So starting Saturday, October the 3rd. So if you're listening to this right now on the radio at 4 p.m. Eastern in Philadelphia on the radio, you've already missed 6 group stage matches across all of the groups in League of Legends. If you've missed 2 North American teams' first match, FlyQuest and Team Solo Mid, you've also missed big teams like China's Top Esports, Korea's DRX, European regions Fnatic and Rogue, and LGD Gaming, who I kept saying would not win a match and kept winning a match in the playing stages. That's on me. So the first 6 matches of group stage have already happened. If you're listening on the radio, Or if you're listening to the podcast on Friday, you still have a chance, if you're going to be up at 4 a.m. Eastern, to catch every one of those matches. They're less than an hour long. Approximately 4 a.m. is the start of the first one, and then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are the approximate starts of the rest of them. So they plan to get through as many matches as quickly as possible. Sunday and Monday and Tuesday are the same exact way. All 4 days, Sunday through Tuesday, are mixed matches between all the different groups. Each team will play each team in their group one time throughout those 4 days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then they take a day off. They take the Wednesday off, no League of Legends Worlds action that day. They come back on Thursday, and this is where it gets interesting. Now that every team has played every other team in its group once in a scattered format, starting Thursday with Group A, all of Thursday's matches are Group A against each other. So Team Liquid, for example, the North American team in Group A, will play all 3 of the other teams in the group between Sunday and Tuesday, and then again on Thursday. Straight. Thursday is all Group A, Friday is all Group B, Saturday is all Group C, and Sunday is all Group D. And then by Sunday, October 11th at, let's say, 10 a.m., when the Group D matches are over, we will know who is in the knockout stage and moving on to the playoff portion of Worlds. So we have a whole week, minus Wednesday, of League of Legends action to take in, starting Saturday at 4 a.m. Eastern Time. And those are all the times listed on the schedule: 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 1 an hour between 4 and 9 for all of those days. And then after that, it gets to 6 a.m. A day, Thursday, October 15th through Sunday, October 18th. And then it goes on to the next weekend with the grand finals being 6 a.m. Halloween Day. So we have between now and Halloween to get through all of these matches. But let's talk about the groups. Group A, to me, I think is the most clear-cut of all the groups, with G2 Esports playing out of the European region. Team Liquid, your North American third seed, who came out of the play-ins, was able to jump in to the group stage from play-ins. You have Suning from China, and you have Maki Esports from the PCS, which is Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan. Chinese teams are always tough, so Suning is not one that I want to overlook, but G2 Esports is far and away one of the top teams in Europe. Definitely a team that scares me going in. If I'm a Team Liquid fan going into this Group A, I think Group A will be G2 at the top, Team Liquid second, Suning and Maki in that order. Ironically, the exact same order that they're shown on the website. I'm not sure how that worked, but that's actually how I think they're going to finish, with G2 and Team Liquid moving on to the knockout stages. The playoff stages. We're in the knockout playoff. It's the same thing. Sorry. Again, still learning. Also, take everything I say with a grain of salt here. I predicted the Team Liquid would have an issue in the play-ins. They went 3-1, or 4-1 after the tiebreaker and moved on. I thought that LGD would not win a single game once the knockout stages started, and here they are in Group C. We'll get to them in a minute. So I am still new, like I'm saying, League of Legends, so my predictions are coming slightly out of left field. But I have a good feeling that Team Liquid's going to take that momentum and keep it going and at least get to the knockout stages from there. So G2 and Team Liquid from Group A. Group B, we have Damwon Gaming from Korea. We have Rogue, again, from the European LEC. PSG Talon from the PCS region, which again is Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan. This was another play-in team, was able to get in from Group 2 of the play-in groups. And then JD Gaming, another Chinese team from the LPL in China. This one's a little harder for me to call, going on some very preliminary research, what I think is going to happen here. I do think that it's going to be the Chinese team JD and the Korean team Damwon. I can't quite decide who's going to be 1-2 in this case, but I think here I'm going to go just for to be official with Damwon number 1, JD number 2. In Group C, we have Gen G from Korea, which may sound familiar to anyone who was following my NBA 2K League coverage throughout the weeks in my time with Sean Brace on the Daily Ticket. Gen G is the only owner of an NBA 2K League team that did not assume the moniker of an NBA team. Their team in the NBA 2K League is the Gen G Tigers. They kind of stick out like a sore thumb in that regard, but it's an interesting way to build the Gen G brand by keeping their name in the NBA with the likes of Sixers Gaming Club and Wizards District Gaming and Warriors Gaming, actual NBA teams. Very savvy decision by them. So we have Gen G in Korea. We have Team Solo Mid, number 1 in North America. We have Fnatic, who is another European team, very, very good. And LGD Gaming, who was the team that I gave no chance to in the knockout stages of the play-ins and proceeded to prove me wrong by, I think, losing one match total, going 6-1 in those 2 matches. So what am I going to do in Group C? I am going to go against them again. I think this might be where their magical run ends, and I am going with TSM and Fnatic. I'm going to switch that order. I'm going to go Fnatic and TSM. Coming out of Group C, I think the 2 of them will clash in both of their matches very well, but I do think that Fnatic will take one of them to claim, or both of them, to claim the tiebreaker over TSM in the Group C standings. I don't think TSM will have an issue with LGD, and I think TSM can hold their own with Gen G enough that they can get at least one win out of them. So if they go 3-3 in Group C, I see Fnatic going 4-2, Gen G 2-4, LGD 1-5, whatever that would be. So Fnatic and TSM advancing from Group C. And then finally, Group D, which has FlyQuest from the North American region, the Unicorns of Love, who are not really associated with any country, I don't believe. They don't have one listed on the official League of Legends website. And according to their Leaguepedia page, which is the Wikipedia specifically made for League of Legends, they are based in Europe, but they don't have a specific league that they fall under. They don't play in the LCS. They don't do anything like that. They are strictly in the they're a bit of an independent based on what I'm seeing. It does look like, however, they were in the LCS in 2019, but not in 2020, which is very bizarre based on what I'm seeing here. I could be wrong. They could be in the LCS and I could just be dumb. But it looks like they are not associated with any specific country-based league at the moment. So that's Unicorns of Love. DRX from Korea, who Pastry Time picked to win the whole thing in my discussion with him back in episode 14. And Top Esports out of China, who seem to be, if you ask around, the overall favorite to take Worlds right now. They are the top Chinese team. Chinese teams have won the last 2 years of Worlds. As Pastry Time noted in our conversation, they don't win in China. There's a bit of a home field mystique or home field disadvantage there that may come into play in this match. But I do expect that Top Esports and DRX, those 2 teams, will come out of Group D in that order, with Unicorns of Love 3rd and FlyQuest flying solo in 4th place. So, of the teams in the groups, I think G2 and Team Liquid will come out of Group A. Dam1 and JD will come out of Group B. Fnatic and TSM will come out of Group C. And then Top Esports and DRX will come out of Group D. Now, from there, we don't know exactly who's going to be playing who and when. We don't know how those brackets are going to shake out. But based on the 8 teams that I have selected to come out of the group stage, again, depending on how the brackets look when they are made, I am actually going to go with the favorite here. I'm going to go with my gut, and I am going to choose Top Esports to win League of Legends Worlds 2020 and break the curse of Chinese teams winning in China, because they, from the matches that I have gone back and watched, they are just a cut above. They are a scary, scary team. that anyone who plays them is going to have trouble with, starting with their guy Jackie Love on the bottom, and then you have Knight in the middle lane, 369 up top, your jungler Karsa, and the two supports in QQ, which is a great name, and Yuyan, I cannot say this name. I've tried it so many times. Yuyanjia, I think it is. Yuyanjia. Whew, that's a tough one. Another support guy there. 369 in the top lane is dominant. Knight in the middle is scary. They don't have a weakness. They have a very almost impenetrable game, and I think it's going to be on full display in the first match of group play Saturday at 4 a.m. Top Esports is my selection to win all of the League of Legends Worlds, take that trophy home. I will update this prediction in a couple weeks, in a couple episodes' time, once we have our brackets. I do want to see how those brackets play out before I update these predictions. Right now, sitting here at the beginning of group stage, Top Esports is going to win, but for me. But it could be that Top Esports falls apart and the Unicorns of Love come out of Group D. Or it could be that one of the other teams looks so dominant, it would be silly to count them out. G2 Esports, for example, in Group A, is the runner-up from last year. They lost to Fun Plus Phoenix, I think the name was, out of the Chinese regions. Fun Plus Phoenix beat G2 Esports to win Worlds last year, yes. So they could very well make it to the finals again and prove me wrong. They could take out Top Esports. DRX could make a run, as Pastry Time predicted. And we could see them hoisting the Summoners Cup. It's tough to say. It is tough to say right now, but it is a perfect time right now where we sit to start looking into the League of Legends Worlds 2020. It will require you to wake up early or to watch the videos on demand without spoiling yourself. You have 6 hours at least of League of Legends action coming at you for 9 or 8 of the next 9 days starting on Saturday. You have Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, break, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yep, 8 of the next 9 days we'll have League of Legends action for you across the entirety of the League of Legends world, the competitive slate, I should say. North American teams, European teams, Korean teams, Chinese teams, all over the country. They are here, and they are all over the world, excuse me. They are here, and they are ready to go. Starting with one of your North American teams, Saturday, 4 a.m., you will see FlyQuest playing Top Esports to get things going. And I think right there, we're going to set the tone of how this is going to go. I think Top is just going to really run the table with FlyQuest, and that'll be that. So 4 and 5 a.m. are Group D, FlyQuest versus Top, and Unicorns versus DRX. And then at 6 a.m., we are looking at Group B with Rogue versus PSG and Damwon versus JD. Then Group C on Saturday at 8 a.m., Gen G versus LGD and TSM versus Fnatic. That's a banger of a game for the first day right at 9 a.m. Those two are really going to butt heads. I'm excited for that. Then Sunday, Group A, Group B, and Group C. Monday looks like Group A, Group B, and Group D. Tuesday looks like Group A, Group D, and Group C. And then we have a break. And then Thursday is all Group A. Friday is all Group B, the 9th. Saturday is all Group C, the 10th. And Sunday is all Group D, the 11th. And by then, we will have our knockouts. Thursday, October 15th, 6 a.m. will be one of the matches in the knockout stages. So by the time I record 2 weeks from now, not only will we know what the brackets look like, there will already be a team missing from it. They will have been knocked out in that Thursday, October 15th, 6 a.m. match. So by the time I update these predictions, the team I could have wanted to pick might already be gone, which is fascinating to me. But yep, here it is. You've heard it here first from someone who is still very much a beginner at League of Legends. I'm going the easy route. I'm picking the favorite, Top Esports, to take it all. Just for fun, let's say in the finals they're going to defeat G2 Esports, who will become 2-time runner-ups without being able to hoist the Summoners Cup. And that's how I think League of Legends Worlds 2020 will end top esports holding the trophy above their heads, holding it high for everyone to see. And now for the final segment of our show today, let's go to the speed run. Starting a topic with the speed run tonight is a quick one. We are going to talk about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, who saw a brand new character coming to the game via the Fighters Pass 2 downloadable pack. So, if you're not familiar with Super Smash Bros., the game launched with about 74 different characters on it, which is pretty impressive to say. Every character that has ever been in Super Smash Bros. Was unveiled to be in this new game at E3 2018. And since then, they have released DLC packs, or downloadable content packs, of new fighters and new stages and new music that people can add to their game via extra purchases. There have been 2 packs of Super Smash Bros. Content, or there are 2 packs of content. The first one, Challenger Pack 1, Fighters Pass 1, was Joker from Persona 5, the Hero from Dragon Quest, Banjo and Kazooie, Terry Bogard from Fatal Fury, and Byleth from the newest Fire Emblem. And now, Challenger Pack number 2, the first character was Min Min from ARMS, which is a lesser-known Nintendo property. She came out back at the end of June. And today, on October the 1st, Thursday, today, when I'm recording this, we found out that the next pack, the second Challenger Pack of the second Fighters Pass, is Steve and Alex from Minecraft, the player characters in Minecraft. Steve being the male, Alex being the female. Minecraft coming to Super Smash Bros. For the first time. 2 colossal franchises are going to be churning out money coming out of the wazoo with this. You have the highest selling gaming property ever in Minecraft coming to a game that has already sold 20 million copies on the Switch 2 years after, not even 2 years, it released December 7th, 2 years after its release, just about. So I expect DLC sales to go way up, and we still have 4 more fighters. That's the craziest thing about this. We still have 4 more envelopes to open with invitations to Super Smash Bros. DLC before this pack is done. And we are already, I would say, in one of the biggest choices there could be for a Super Smash Bros. DLC in Steve and Alex. There was a lot of discussion on Twitter right after it was announced. In fact, I understand Twitter broke right after this news was announced for a little while, which is insane. And as is usually the case, that discourse was mostly from a vocal minority. What the heck is this? This is stupid. This isn't the character I wanted. Piss, scream, moan, rah, rah, I'm so angry on Twitter because I got nothing else to do. Bull crap. And then when you sit back and you think about it, like normal people do, you think, oh, Minecraft sells a ton. Super Smash Bros. Is supposed to be a museum of gaming that you can play. Minecraft has to be there because Minecraft is such an influence on gaming as a whole. Not representing it in this game is pretty silly. So, Steve and Alex from Minecraft makes perfect sense. They still make perfect sense now. I wish I would have guessed them in my prognostication that I had done before the actual announcement was made. I named off like 5 or 6 different people that I thought it could be. I thought it could be Crash Bandicoot because his game comes out tomorrow. I thought it could be Travis Touchdown from No More Heroes because the creator went from begging publicly for his character to come in to saying no comment, no comment. So there could be some smoke. There could be some fire where that smoke is. But yeah, so Steve and Alex as this new Challenger Pack is great. But I want to get into the other 4. We have 4 more Challenger Packs coming to Super Smash Bros. Next year. And I just want to talk a little bit about who I think could be very good choices and when I think they're going to happen for this pack. So first, I want to talk about a classic. So far, we have a little bit modern Nintendo in the ARMS character Min Min, and we have modern gaming in general in Minecraft. It may not look modern, but it is very much modern. Challenger Pack 8, whenever that comes out, I think we go back to retro. We go back to old school, like in the same vein as the Castlevania guys that are already in Super Smash Brothers or stuff like that. We go back to an old school character who hasn't been in Super Smash Brothers before, but is definitely worthy of a spot, again, if this is supposed to be a museum of video games. And that is Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden. I think he is going to be in this pack. He's going to be the next one revealed because, again, we've gone modern for these first two. It's time to go retro again, and he is one of the first retro characters I think of as far as guest characters are concerned that is not already represented in the game in some form at all. Koei Tecmo, who owns the Ninja Gaiden license, and Nintendo are very, very close. Koei Tecmo is developing Hyrule Warriors Calamity. I can't remember the full name of it. The new Hyrule Warriors game coming out in November, which is a prequel to Breath of the Wild, one of the biggest Zelda games of all time. They have a partnership, and I feel like that partnership will be taken advantage of in this new Challenger Pack 8 sometime in 2021. I don't think we're going to see it before the end of the year. I think Steve and Alex are going to be it, and then you'll have 4 packs, the next 4 packs scattered throughout 2021, every 3 months or so, maybe a little less. We'll find out who these people are. That's Challenger Pack number 8. Challenger Pack number 9, still on the fence with this one. There are a couple of ways that this could go. And Steve and Alex, actually, the Minecraft gang, being included officially, kind of throws a wrench into a plan that I had. So, for example, I would like to point out that Steve and Alex, despite being an Xbox franchise and highly touted, Minecraft is owned by Xbox, they bought Mojang, all that stuff. When you look at the credits page on the Super Smash Bros. Website, or at the end of the trailer that debuted today, Microsoft and Mojang are listed separately, which tells me that any characters from studios that Microsoft owns but didn't necessarily create themselves, Mojang, for example, and Minecraft, will be represented separately in those credits. Unfortunately, I think the ties to Microsoft eliminate a guy like Master Chief, because they already have 2 in there technically with Banjo and Kazooie and Steve and Alex. But it doesn't eliminate a character from Bethesda, who was recently purchased by Microsoft, as we talked about last week. So, I think that Challenger Pack number 9 will be the Doomslayer from Doom. Now, you may be saying Doomslayer in Super Smash Bros. Seems like a weird fit because Doomslayer is a hyper-violent. Doom is a hyper-violent game, not suited for kids. Where on earth would you get that idea? And to that, I would just point you to Bayonetta, who was the last DLC character from the previous Super Smash Bros. Game, and who is wearing a leather skin-tight bodysuit made out of her own hair. I don't want to hear that games are too graphic or too this or too that. When you have someone like Bayonetta and someone like Joker from Persona, which is one of the most mature games out there, just in a different sense, really there's nothing that's off the table here. So Doomslayer coming in at Challenger Pack number 9 would make perfect sense to me. Challenger Pack 10 is where I think we see the aforementioned Travis Touchdown, because again, the creator of No More Heroes for years was saying, put my guy in Super Smash Brothers, put my guy in Super Smash Brothers, please, 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 please. And then all of a sudden he was asked recently, and his response was no comment. This is a guy who was outspoken about everything, and all of a sudden he's not commenting anymore. I think that's where he comes in. Challenger Pack 10, Travis Touchdown. And then we come to the final Challenger Pack. This one, to me, is tough. It's really tough because there are 3 ways I think this can go. And I'm going to rank them in order of my own personal opinion based on exposure to the game itself and how I feel about the game that these characters are coming from. The first one is Monster Hunter. Now, Monster Hunter is about to release 2 brand new games on the Switch exclusively. Capcom and Nintendo are also very tight. Maybe not as tight as Koei Tecmo, but very tight. They're not getting like the new Resident Evil or Devil May Cry 5 and stuff like that, but they are getting 2 brand new Monster Hunters all to themselves. They've been supported with some Street Fighter titles. So seeing a Monster Hunter in that last pack would make sense, and Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite showed us that the Monster Hunter can work in a fighting game. That's fine. I just don't know if and if I remember correctly, the creator of Monster Hunter didn't want Monster Hunter in Marvel vs. Capcom. I can't imagine he would go out on a limb to put a Monster Hunter character in this game, which isn't even made by Capcom. We do already have some Monster Hunter representation in Super Smash Bros. Rathalos, the giant dragon, is one of the bosses in the story mode. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's all the Monster Hunter we're going to get. We're not going to actually get a character. That's fine. Another reason why I rank it third of the thoughts in my head. The second one is Sora from Kingdom Hearts. Square Enix has already given 2 of their biggest characters in their repertoire to this game, Cloud from Final Fantasy VII and Dragon Quest's hero in the first Challenger Pack, 4 different heroes in one character throughout all of Dragon Quest history. Sora from Kingdom Hearts would be the trifecta. It would be a huge trifecta, bringing Kingdom Hearts in to Super Smash Bros. My only issue is I don't know where Disney has a say in this. How much of Sora is owned by Disney or influenced by Disney and not just Square Enix, who makes the game. I would worry that potential conflict of interest would hurt Sora's chances of getting into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and I really don't think that that's going to bode well for him. So that's why I rank him number 2 below a character also from Square Enix who does not have the Disney issue on his back and could very well be because I think he's one of the most requested characters right now. It would be a perfect anchor, a perfect final character for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate if this is the end of the DLC. And that is Geno from Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, a majorly fantastic game on Super Nintendo, and a character we have not seen since then. Now, this game was a partnership between Nintendo and Square before they became Square Enix. Played like an old classic Final Fantasy game, not so much like a Mario game, but Geno was one of the characters that was original to the game. He was in your party. He was this doll that came to life. It's a very hard thing to explain in story, but he is awesome. His repertoire would be perfect for this game, for Super Smash Bros. And because he has been requested for so long, this is a character that has been requested since back in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, back in 2007, 2008. So if we can get him here to be the anchor, the final DLC, if this is the final DLC pack of Challenger Pack, Fighters Pass 2 as Challenger Pack 11, I think that's where they're going to go. If they're going to put him in here at all, he's going to be last because he's been so requested, because he's been so hyped up. I do think that is where Geno comes in. So my 4 picks for the remaining Super Smash Bros. DLC are Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden, the Doomslayer from Doom, Travis Touchdown from No More Heroes, and Geno from Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. Those are it. Honorable mentions that could throw a wrench in my plans would be a Tekken representative. Bandai Namco helps them make the game. It only has Pac-Man. So someone from Tekken, be it Heihachi Mishima, Kazuya Mishima, Nina Williams would be interesting. Something like that. Maybe Nina Anna in the same slot. That would be cool because they have similar movesets. That's one that could throw off. Lara Croft is an interesting wild card here. That would also be a Square Enix, but it's Square Enix West, which hasn't had a representation yet at all, I don't think. Lara Croft is another pillar of gaming. If we're talking about this being the museum of video games that you can play, Lara Croft would have to be in here. So that's one to consider. There are many, many others that I'm like. Crash Bandicoot is another huge one now that Activision owns Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot fits way too well in Super Smash Bros. To begin with, but I just don't know if that would happen here. And then there's all kinds of other characters from games that I'm not thinking of that make perfect sense. Some people want one of the blocks from Tetris. I just don't see how that would work. They made Pong an assist trophy. Just make Tetris an assist trophy too. That's what I would do. But yeah, so there they are. Ryu Hayabusa, Doomslayer, Travis Touchdown, and Gino from Super Mario RPG. No matter what happens, more Smash Brothers is good Smash Brothers. I hope they realize what's happening here with this game, having sold 20 million strong and counting, and they just keep adding more throughout all of the Switch's life cycle. Just make it a gigantic League of Legends style roster, 160 players. Let people choose how they will. Just keep adding to what you already have, bringing more companies in. There's no reason to try and make a new game now. Let this be Sakurai's final project, his masterpiece, his opus, and then he can go and retire as he deserves to, as he's deserved to for 2 games now, if you ask me. But he keeps coming back for his fans and for the players. So that's the rest of the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I know that's a little indulgent. It's not something I normally talk about on this podcast. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Smash Bros. Is my favorite series. Ultimate is a fantastic game. I just want to talk about DLC a little bit. Feel free to hit me up at Big Man Fanelli on Twitter if you have your own suggestions as to who you think could get in to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate in one of these 4 packs. It's a very interesting discussion. I'm always up to hear new characters. It's one of my favorite discussions in gaming is characters in fighting games, and we have a choice one right here with 4 options to choose from in the coming weeks. And then on Saturday, this coming Saturday, at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, we're going to find out how Steve and Alex play and when they will be added to our game, which is also very exciting. So, with that is episode number 16 of the Cheesesteaks and Controllers podcast. I am Jason Fanelli, Esports and Gaming Insider for Fox PHL The Gambler, 102.5 FM, 1480 AM Philadelphia, and iHeartRadio. I thank you, as always, for listening to the show. One quick update about Extra Life. We still sit at $365. The $1,226 goal is still there. If we reach that before November the 7th at 8 a.m., I will play at least 1 hour of Resident Evil 7 in VR, scaring the crap out of myself for the kids. If you want to see me do that, I will be streaming it live as well. I just have to get a webcam between now and then so you can watch me shaking my britches as I play this game. You can donate at my Extra Life page. The URL will be in the information of the podcast, but it's also extra-life.org/participant/Jason-Fanelli. That's where you can donate right there. It is a charity called Extra Life. It is for the kids. Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals are the beneficiaries. Being from Philadelphia, I am allowed to choose my own hospital, or hospital that I wish to support. So I am going with the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, right here on Penn's campus in Philly. It's a worthy cause. Talk about it every week. If you want to donate, like I said, the URL will be in the information, as well as extra-life.org/participant/Jason-Fanelli. This has been episode 16 of the Cheesesteaks and Controllers podcast. Make sure to tune in every Tuesday night at 6 o'clock to Fox PHL The Gambler, 102.5 FM for the Rodney McLeod Show. Sitting with Rodney McLeod is Jared Colton, and they go over the previous Eagles game from the week. We were there Tuesday night. Stephanie and I, my wife and I, went and hung out at Chickies and Pete's in South Philadelphia. Very good time, very good discussion after what was a tough Eagles tie against Cincinnati Bengals. Rodney had a lot of great insight, a lot of good stuff coming there. Feel free to go and check that out every Tuesday at 6 on Fox PHL The Gambler. Until next week, I am Jason Fanelli. Go Fusion, and we will talk again soon. See you.